Hey everyone, I am here today to share with you my biblical fiction reads for April 2020. For April, it looks like I actually read 8 books this month. Oh, I'm sorry, it looks like I read 6 books this month. So I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys my favorites, what they were about, and if I think I would recommend them to anybody or not. So the first one is actually Daughter of Rome. This one is by Tessa Ashfar, and this one literally just came out a few months ago. It takes place in the time of the Roman occupation, and it is an excellent story. Jesus had already been crucified, and it takes place sort of during the time of Paul, because he is in the story as well. So this one is actually a really good story. It is about a young woman who, has some past secrets and stuff, and she's able to come to terms and forget her past and learn about Jesus. And then she becomes a follower along with her husband. So this is a great book if you guys are interested in a new release. So the second one is Heavenly Lights, Noah's Journey by Barbara M. Britton. And this is not Noah, the Ark building guy. This is another Noah, but it's a woman. And she is actually a lesser known character in the Bible. I don't know if you guys remember the very quick little story during Moses' time where there was a man who had passed away, and he left 5 daughters. And the 5 daughters had come to Moses when they were starting to divvy up land and said, are we allowed to get an inheritance too, even though our father didn't have any sons? Are we allowed to share in that inheritance? And God said yes. So this is about one of those 5 daughters. And this series by Barbara M. Britton follows the story of 3 of those 5 daughters. So this one is about Noah. And she is a very sweet young lady who is a shepherdess. So we don't really know anything about the daughters other than they got land. So the rest of it is fiction. But this is a really great book. And I really like the series. And I really like how Barbara Britton actually talks about everything. And I love her writing style. So the third one is King's Shadow by Angela Hunt. This one was a harder read for me only because I am not a history buff, and there is so much history in this. If you don't already know a lot of information about King Herod's time, it was, you're probably going to learn through the book, but it would probably have made more sense to me if I actually knew a little bit more about that time period. Angela Hunt's books, I have noticed, are very, very historically accurate, and she goes into very detailed descriptions about the history of everything going around. So it was a really good read. I probably wouldn't read it again. I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads just because there was so much history in it. I'm more like to read books that aren't so descriptively detailed about the history. I like to read about time periods that I already know about so that I have a better understanding. Now, she actually wrote another book called Judah's Wife, and that was during the time of the Maccabees. And honestly, I understood that one better than this one because I am Messianic Jewish. So I understood all of that because we know about Hanukkah and we know about the Maccabees already. So that one was King's Shadow. This one is part of the Ordinary Women of the Bible series, which comes from Guidepost every month. You actually have to subscribe on Guidepost's site to be able to get these books, and you'll get one each month. I believe this was my 3rd one, and this one is the Ark Builders Wives, Zara's story. Now, this is about Noah, the Ark Builder. We don't know his wife's name in real life, so we just know her by Zara in this story. This one, honestly, I only gave a 3-star on Goodreads, only because I just did not like how they portrayed Noah's wife in this story, because in the Bible it said that Noah was found righteous with his wife and his sons and their wives. And in this story, Noah's wife has a background in paganism, and she is constantly trying to do things her way underneath Noah, around him and stuff. And, I just didn't like how they portrayed her, because she didn't seem like the person that God would have wanted to save from the flood too. So that's just my opinion. So honestly, I didn't really enjoy this book, but I did read it because it is part of the series. Okay, the next one blew me away. The Pharaoh's Daughter by Misu Andrews. This has been sitting on my bookshelf since last December. I finally decided to read it because in my book group somebody recommended to me. So I thought, okay, well, I'll go ahead and read it. This book blew me away so far. I read it so quick. I just gobbled it up. It was an excellent read. It is basically about the time of Moses, and the Pharaoh's daughter is the daughter that saves him and raises him. This book has so much that I can't even describe. It is absolutely amazing. The detail, how it's written, all the information in it. So much research was done. It's not so completely over historic like Angela Hunt's is, but this book itself really kept me on the edge of my seat, because I could never tell what was going to happen next, because it was so exciting and riveting. So when I finished, I had to get the second one, which I actually did not own already, to follow what happened next out of the story. And that leads me up to my last one, which is Miriam by Misu Andrews. So this one is the second one from the Treasure of the Nile series. There's only 2, so it starts with the daughter of Pharaoh raising Moses, and then it leaves off with Miriam, and she tells the story of the Exodus and the plagues through her eyes instead of Moses' eyes. It was an amazing series. I have to say, if you guys haven't read this series yet, out of everything I read this entire month, you guys have got to read this series. It is the best series so far that I've read, and it was just absolutely perfect. I loved every minute of it, and I was on the edge of my seat with a lot of the chapters. So I blew through this entire series so quick, it almost made me want to read it again, just to catch all the details again. So again, these are all of the books that I read for April 2020, and I hope you guys enjoyed all of